The John LeBank Show has been known to make people laugh, sing, think, scream, throw things in rage, and generally lose their minds. Listener discretion is advised.
Worldwide and out to the greater universe, you're listening to the John LeBank Show.
Greetings, Earthlings, and alert the media. The banger is on the microphone. From snowflakes to fruitcakes, we examine the mental health problem that we are now seeing in America. And it's a big one, ladies and gentlemen, as we see many people falling apart at the seams, crumbling emotionally. I had no idea the people on the left were so fragile. All those years, I went hard at them and attacked them for who they were. I had no idea that they were actually just mentally ill. I thought they were deranged, or they were evil, or they were just plain downright dirty people, corrupt, all those sorts of things. But now I'm seeing it as they are mentally unstable.
What difference at this point does it make?
They're not fit to run their own lives, from what I can tell. I mean, it doesn't help that the left-wing media, the mainstream manufactured news, led them to believe that Hillary Clinton was going to win the election, led them to believe that their way of doing things was going to continue on, and that there was no opposition to where they were taking the country. And so when they lost, they fell into this world of disbelief. There's even websites dedicated to pretending that Hillary Clinton is president. That's to make the fruitcakes feel better. And the fruitcakes are all over. They're not just the people who vote Democrat Party, who believe the mainstream manufactured bull crap. But we have people inside the Democrat Party that can't grip reality either. We just had the president address Congress, and of course, there's always a response to the presidential address. And this gentleman, Steve Brashear, was the person speaking.
I'm a proud Democrat, but first and foremost, I'm a proud Republican and Democrat, and mostly American.
He's a Democrat. He's a Republican. He's a Democrat. He's a Republican.
I'm a proud Democrat, but first and foremost...
Does that sound like a sane man?
I'm a proud Republican and Democrat.
Then, of course, we have the wicked witch, Nancy Pelosi.
It's called the Affordable Care Act. It's called the Affordable Care Act.
Who apparently can't remember that she said we had to wait to find out what was in Obamacare until after they signed it into law.
But we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
Now she's complaining that, oh, the Republicans are hiding things from everybody and they're not being very transparent about the new health care law. If you didn't know, by the way, apparently the bill, part of the bill, some of the bill, maybe the whole bill, it's very confusing. But it's disappeared, or it disappeared. And they were looking all over Congress. It was like this giant road rally. You had Senator Rand Paul running from room to room along with some Democrats, and everybody's running around trying to find where this bill went to so people could read it. And apparently you can't find it in the government. Somewhere out there, it had disappeared.
I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill.
That's probably because it's the same kind of people that are, thinking about ways of writing the new healthcare law. Can we get over writing healthcare laws? Seriously? Why don't we just cancel the dang thing? Cancel it all. Get rid of it. Oh, you can't do that. Why? We didn't have it a few years ago. It was working okay. Working better than it's working now. Just get rid of it. Republicans are too scared. They're the linguini-spined Republicans. All the hate and vitriol that the Democrats push on the Republicans, I laugh at that. I'm like, they're linguini spines. They only care for votes just like you guys only care for votes. Not many of the Republicans are going to stand tough and actually do something that was beneficial towards, the taxpayer, the American taxpayer. By some stroke of luck, we're hoping, Donald Trump got into office. And maybe something can happen that will help the American taxpayer out. The person who is bearing the biggest burden in running this country. But of course, we don't even know about that yet. Because all the complaining and whining that is going on about what Donald Trump has done, I don't know. You watch it and you're like, some executive orders, big deal. Those have no teeth. The one about the Obamacare, guess who had to still pay the tax? That's right. Yours truly had to still pay the tax, even though Donald Trump, told the IRS to make things easier on us. It's because, it's still law. An executive order is not law. These things have no teeth. And we need to realize that as the American people. And when whoever is in office, Barry Soetoro, George Bush, Donald Trump, it doesn't matter. When they write executive orders, we can just go, no. We don't have to listen to that. That's not law. Too bad. You can write all the executive orders you want. Too bad. We now see with Donald Trump's executive orders that he was just getting rid of executive orders here and there from Obama. That made those executive orders have no teeth. That's how easy those things can be taken out, gotten rid of. And that's why I've always been pushing for legislative power, law behind these actions, these things that will help the American taxpayer out. And now we can't find the good part of the old new Obamacare bill. I don't know what they're going to call it. Obamacare Light. I don't know. Because it's going to be, they can't take it away now. That's the problem when you implement some kind of stupid government program. You can never take it away now because somebody becomes dependent on it right away. And now we're stuck. Immediately, somebody got sucked into it, and now they can't get off of it because, you know what? You're going to make their life hard, aren't you, if you get rid of it? Doesn't matter. It would be the same as it was like 4 or 5, 6 years ago. And we got the Republicans hiding, or somebody's hiding the new health care, whatever they're going to call it, crappy care, government health care. I mean, why does anybody ever think that government controlling anything is a good idea? You put a bunch of money in the hands of greedy, self-serving, incompetent people, and you think that's a good idea. I just don't understand that. That's what all this Obamacare was about. Pulling it from the private to the government. You're basically taking the healthcare system and making it the DMV. Have you been down to the DMV? Most of us buy our tags online now, don't we? Because we don't like going down to the DMV. That's what they were hoping with the healthcare. Nobody would want to go to the healthcare because there's a pain in the tail. How about the Flint water issue? Those were government officials. That was put in the hands of the government. And how did that turn out? What about the Orville Dam situation? I mean, we could name countless instances where the government is completely incompetent. And it doesn't matter how much money we flush down the toilet, it doesn't fix a thing. Yet, people want to put one of the most important things, a person's health, in the hands of the government. And I'm not even talking the government that you're calling the Constitution, because that's the true government. I'm speaking of the people inside the halls of government. They're liars, they're cheaters, they're incompetent, self-serving. Yet we want to put another thing in their hands. Or we did. We put it in their hands because we had a group of insane people. Like I said in the beginning, I had no idea the people on the left were so fragile emotionally. Now it explains a whole lot of things. That's why they deal with all these situations irrationally. And why they don't care for people's property and care for other people's, wealth or well-being. They claim they do, but all their actions say different. I don't see the logic in putting anything in the hands of government officials ever again. The more we can take out of their hands, the better at this point. I don't like repeating myself, but I'm going to. They're incompetent, they're self-serving, and they're liars. And government fails the people on a daily basis. Yet we want to continue to give them more power, to grant them more power that they don't deserve because they wouldn't know what to do with it in the first place and they're just going to screw it up anyways. We got to take a quick break, folks. More coming up on the John LeBang Show after this. Hey, don't touch that dial. The John LeBang Show will be right back. I promise. Wrecking Crew, Detroit's own head-cracking, ass-kicking tribute to Motley Crue. Playing all the greatest hits. Catch their 2017 tour, March 4th at the All Around in Taylor, Michigan. April 1st at the Music Factory in Battle Creek, Michigan. April 29th at the Diesel Concert Lounge in Chesterfield Township, Michigan. June 24th at Poopy's Pub and Grub in Savannah, Illinois.
Wrecking Crew.
For more information about Detroit's own head-cracking, ass-kicking tribute to Motley Crue and additional tour information, go to their website. That's www.wreckingcrewdetroit.com.
Wrecking Crew.
Detroit's head-cracking, ass-kicking tribute to Motley Crue. If you are elderly, disabled, receiving SSI or Medicaid, and you have a medical need or require assistance with daily housework, shopping, grooming, medication, you may qualify for housekeeping at no cost. Call now. VIP Home Healthcare, 248-579-3805. VIP Home Healthcare, there when you need them. That's 248-579-3805.
You're listening to the John LeBang Show.
It's better than some Thai stick, man.
Yes, and I bet you're loving it.
Hey, pass that over.
Did you hear, Uncle Shady?
What's that, Leroy?
Patrick Stewart wants to become an American citizen, Uncle Shady, so he can fight Trump.
Are you serious?
Well, it's trending on Facebook, Uncle Shady.
I used to like him,
He's in the new Wolverine movie, Uncle Shady.
and now I'm gonna like him even less.
I don't understand, Uncle Shady.
Because now I've got to boycott that movie, and I was really looking forward to seeing it.
Me too, Uncle Shady. At least the Guardians of the Galaxy movie is coming soon. We can see that one instead.
No thanks. Bad actors are worse than stupid ones.
What do you mean, Uncle Shady?
Didn't you see the first movie?
Yes, I saw it, Uncle Shady. And I spilled my Juji fruits all over, remember?
That wasn't the first time you spilled your Juji fruits.
We went down to the Dollar Theater, remember?
Then you have to remember
Remember what, Uncle Shady?
how bad the actors were who played Starboard and the Blue Craps.
Who, Uncle Shady?
Starboard and the Blue Craps.
I think you mean Star-Lord and Drax, Uncle Shady.
I like my way better.
Well, I liked the movie, Uncle Shady. I thought it was one of the best Marvel movies so far.
Well, you're easily entertained and not too bright. So I'm gonna wait for the Thor movie.
Oh, you like Thor, Uncle Shady?
Yeah, he's good, but I really like the Hulk. He's a man after my own heart.
What do you mean, Uncle Shady?
If you don't piss me off, I won't beat the hell out of you. Now grab me a beer and turn on John's show.
Okay, Uncle Shady.
You're listening to the John LeBang Show.
It's hydroponic radio for your brain, man. Feel smarter yet?
You know, it's pretty crazy that 1 month in to a presidency, the entire opposition is already speaking of impeachment of Donald Trump. The fact that they were completely silent and even supportive of the things that President Barack Hussein Obama was doing, his ties to like the Muslim Brotherhood and his funding of rebel groups that have turned out to be Al Qaeda or ISIS or affiliates of those groups, the Benghazi incident, all these things that happened during the Obama administration. And there was no call or very little call from the right, the Republicans, to impeach him because they were afraid. There were reasons the Republicans were afraid to bring up the subject of impeachment with President Barack Hussein Obama, former president anyways, there. And a lot of it had to do with issues of the first, he was the first. And because he was the first, you couldn't criticize him or else you were deemed a racist or something. And because the linguini-spined Republicans were very limp-wristed during his reign as president, they didn't take on the hard issues. Sure, there were some, like Trey Gowdy and Rand Paul and a few others that really went after the corruption that was inside the Obama administration. But of course, Nancy Pelosi was complacent in all that. Chuck Schumer, Maxine Waters, they were fine with what was going on in the Obama administration. But now that there's a new sheriff in town, they have lost their minds. They don't understand that there is a segment of the country, half of it looks like, at least half, maybe more, but at least half the country, that didn't like to go down the road, that didn't want to follow the way the country was headed, and they wanted to put a stop to it. And because Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton wanted to move this agenda forward and didn't care that there was a segment of the population that didn't want to do it, that didn't want to go along with it. It was too bad for you. And now that the American people who went out there and put Donald Trump in office to stop the bleeding, and unlike the people on the left there, the people who elected Donald Trump are pretty much going to hold Donald responsible. If he doesn't follow through on his promises, you are going to hear the people who elected him raise hell. You didn't hear so much of that on the other side of the aisle when Barry Soetoro was running things. But the left is not willing to take the chance that Donald Trump is going to straight out the mess, because the mess was created by these people. It's a huge mess in this country. We have debt that's through the roof, nearly $20 trillion in debt. Nobody wants to deal with that issue head on. Not the Republicans, not the Democrats, anybody who has been entrenched in Washington for more than let's say a couple terms is complacent and has exasperated the situation. Nobody has tried to stop it, or very few people have tried to stop it. Nobody on the left, anyways. The left totally throw out the bill. They don't care how much things cost or how it's going to get paid. They just want this, they want that, and they want this. But somebody has to pay for all that. And right now, the majority of that, because, well, corporations have the power of shipping a bunch of money off. They have the power of writing a bunch of things off. The tax burden is coming from the common man and woman who's out there struggling to survive every day. That's the people that not only have to pick up their own bills, but they have to pick up the rest of the country's bills. Because the people who can't afford to get anything for whatever reason want them to pay for it. And they want all the luxuries and they want all the privileges of the people who pay for everything. Yet they don't want to go out there and pay for it themselves. They want to have somebody else pay for their stuff. Whether it be health care, whether it be food, whether it be housing, whatever. You want to know why private commercial housing, I'm not talking a home, but I'm talking like apartments and condominiums and all those things, how they have skyrocketed in price? It's because the housing economy went in a crapper, and because the government subsidizes people's housing through HUD and other agencies. People don't have to pay for their own, or they have to pay very little according to their income towards their own housing, their own roof over their head, because some government program allows them to take money, or the government pays them, or pays the apartment complex to house them. So you know what the apartment complex is going to do? It's going to jack up the pricing because the government's going to pay for it. Who cares? And that's why people are paying more for apartments than they are paying for houses, but they don't have the credit to buy a house. So we're stuck. But that's okay, because everything is now Donald Trump's fault. There's a new article that just came out. After decades, this is on MSN. This is MSN News, okay? After decades in America, newly deported return to Mexico they barely recognize. And for the first half of this article, they're talking about how these poor guys were shipped back to Mexico, and it's all Donald Trump's fault. Yet when you read the full article and you get down to the article in this mainstream manufactured news article here, you find out that these guys have been already detained for weeks and they were waiting to go back. And when I say weeks, I'm not talking 4 weeks during the Donald Trump administration. These guys were picked up during the Obama administration. They've been in a holding place, basically a little immigrant prison, until they probably had enough guys to ship back. They're not just going to ship one at a time. That's stupid, putting guys on one guy or two guys on a bus. So they hold these legal immigrants, and then they ship them off all together. Some of them have been here 20 years in the country illegally. Yet this article goes after the Donald Trump administration for deporting these men. They point the finger at these guys over, it's Donald Trump's fault these men are being deported. Yet they were detained weeks ago, not 4 weeks ago. Some have been detained for up to 8 or 9 weeks. Now, excuse me, I do believe that was during the Barack Hussein Obama administration. So it was the Obama administration who held these people. Then because they were already scheduled to be shipped off, this is residue from the Obama administration. Yet I don't hear any complaints about the Obama administration shipping people out of the country. Have you noticed all of a sudden the mainstream media, the mainstream manufactured news has got some balls, and now they're going after the current administration. They had their mouths shut the entire Obama administration. They were praising him. They were worshiping him. Yet right now, it's all this, everything is Donald Trump's fault. Even people who are being shipped off to Mexico today, who have been in holding for weeks upon weeks, waiting to go back, who were picked up during the Obama administration, that is Donald Trump's fault for doing that. The evil Donald Trump is deporting these men who have come here illegally. Yet it was the Obama administration who picked these guys up and scheduled them to be deported. But you can't tell that to the average person on the left there who watches CNN, who watches MSNBC, who watches whatever news station, whatever mainstream manufactured news outlet there is. You can't tell them that because they're not going to believe it. Because one, they don't read past the headlines. And two, it ruins their whole concept of what's going on. It blows it out of the water. Their little world, their little protected bubble world that they're in gets blown out of the water. And that's why they've gone insane. Because Donald Trump winning blew their whole world out of the water. They thought they were going to win. Hillary was going to be president. And when she didn't win, they cried foul. Oh, foul, foul, foul. The Russians did it! The Russians did it! Oh, boy. That's another thing. The Russians did it. We'll get into that as we continue on with the show. Got to take a quick break, folks. More on the flip side.
Don't go anywhere. The John LeBang Show will be right back.
You'd be crazy to change the dial now.
Fans, do you need a video for your brand new song but don't have a lot of money? Then contact John LeBang. His reasonable rates, professional look, and fast turnarounds will help get that song off the ground. Contact him at jlebang.com.
CRRM, CarePoint Billing Services. Their billers and managers are all dedicated to working for you to increase your profits. For more information, call CRRM at 248-579-3805. CRRM, CarePoint Billing Services. Please allow me to do a little bit of self-promotion. If you like what you're hearing on the John LeBang Show, then please go to my website. That's www.jlebang.com and find out more information about the John LeBang Show. Maybe you want to help out the cause by donating to us or buying something in our store. Now, if you want to contact the John LeBang Show for whatever reason, please send us an email at jlebang@live.com. If you like the YouTube thing and you're a YouTuber, then check us out at youtube.com/LeBangYourHead, or just search us out by looking up Banger Incorporated. Now, we do the Twitter thing, and if you're on Twitter, then follow us at Twitter at John LeBang. And of course, we're on Facebook. And if you want to find us there, look us up at The John LeBang Show and like that page, because we like it when you like that page. This half hour is brought to you by Pane and the Glass Window Cleaning. For a beautiful sparkling shine that's crystal clear, call Pane and the Glass. You can find them on Facebook at Pane and the Glass.
Ladies, it doesn't matter if it's morning, noon, or night. Whether you've worked all day or you just woke up. If you got the thirst, just wet your lips on a BJ. BJ Beer, brewed right here in the great state of Michigan. Who wants a BJ?
Hey, man, it's at the bottom of the hour, man. Do you know where your kids are, man?
And welcome back, folks. So the Russians did it, right? The Russians got Donald Trump elected, and we've had the Sessions thing going on that he met with Russian ambassador a couple times, and that was a big deal. Apparently you can't meet with Russian ambassadors without the Democrat Party, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and whoever else going out of their minds. I know the Democrats wanted to have a war with Russia. They were trying really, really hard to have a war with Russia. And that's why they were pushing the Hillary Clinton. And she was trying to pick a fight with Russia. So everything is Russia's fault, right? No, it's not the fact that there's terrorists out there. Hey, we're funding them. Don't worry about it. We're funding the terrorists. And so because we're funding the terrorists, that's not a big deal. Russia's the problem. Now it comes out that here's Nancy Pelosi complaining that, oh, there's people in the Obama or the Trump administration meeting with Russian officials, when she has not only met with Russian officials, but she's exchanged gifts. She's had dinner with them. Come on. What about you, Chuck Schumer? There's pictures of you with Vladimir Putin. He's your buddy, right? Oh, but that's nothing, right? Nothing. Forget about that. Everybody on the left, don't even look at that. The news media, don't even focus on that, right? The mainstream manufactured news won't even focus on the fact that Chuck Schumer was out there partying it up with Vladimir Putin, and there's Nancy Pelosi, the wicked witch of the West, the senile witch of the West, out there meeting with Russian ambassadors and Russian officials. Isn't that what diplomats do? They meet with their foreign counterparts. How come you're not so outraged at John McCain going to visit the terrorists out there in Syria? He's part of that establishment, isn't he? John McCain has become a Democrat in Republican clothing. That's all he is. But the hypocrisy from the left is amazing. And maybe they've just, their whole world is blown out of the water, so they've snapped and they cannot get a grip on reality. Then we have the Republicans not only making it very difficult for us to find out what's in the new health care bill that's being hidden from all of us again. Not only do the Democrats do it, but now the Republicans are doing it. We couldn't find out what was in the bill until it was passed. That's what Nancy said. And now I guess we can't find out until the bill is passed because the Republicans said it. You know, when all these things are happening behind closed doors, that the American people are probably going to end up getting screwed. And yet we continue to put these people in. I spoke about why we do this months and months ago. The Democrats, as I am reiterating from back then, the Democrats are okay with corrupt politicians. They're fine with it. As long as they get their goodies, they're fine with it. The Republicans, the base that is, aren't so forgiving. They get mad and they vote you out. They get rid of you if they found out that you have betrayed them, that you lied to them in the campaign. That's why there's going to be no problem. If Donald Trump does not hold true to what he said in the campaign, people will get rid of him. They're not going to put up with it, at least the people on the right. That's the big difference between the two bases right there. But to get back to the Wicked Witch of the West and how she has lost all sense of reality. The president had his little address to Congress, and her little, her little rebuttal to all that was very insulting to the people who voted for Donald Trump. The people who voted for Donald Trump are not stupid people. They're sick of the lies of the government. They're sick of the mainstream manufactured news feeding them a bunch of crap on a plate and saying this is the truth when it's not. But House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi said after the little speech Mr. Trump said at Congress there, that there are plenty of grounds right now for the current president to be impeached. What is that? I'd like to know if there's grounds for Donald Trump to be impeached. Let me know. Let us know what those grounds are, because I want to know. He's only been there a month. What could he have possibly done in a month? We could have started all this during Barry when he had the Muslim Brotherhood running through the White House there, when he was funding terrorist groups. In his own words, they were funding ISIL groups in Anbar province. Give it a listen.
So with the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces, including volunteers from Sunni tribes in Anbar province.
But that wasn't worth it. Impeachment, right? That wasn't worth impeachment. The failure of Libya, that wasn't worth impeachment. Funding the Muslim Brotherhood to help topple the Egyptian government, that wasn't impeachable.
I actually think I'm a pretty good president. I think if I ran, I could win. But I can't.
Nancy continues by saying, many of the president's supporters are not ready to accept the fact that their judgment may have not been so great in voting for him. No, most of us who voted for Donald Trump are happy as hell we didn't get Hillary Clinton as president. And if you would have gave us anybody besides Hillary, maybe you should have put Bernie up instead of cheating him out of the candidacy. That's another thing. The left has gone out of their mind. Even Bernie Sanders has lost it. Bernie gets cheated out of the nomination for presidency by the Democrat Party, and he falls right in line and just, hey, I'm still a Democrat. They can cheat all they want. We all know that Hillary was going to win it anyways. What's the big deal, right? What's the big deal? It amazes me that the mainstream media, who has been proven without a shadow of a doubt to be incompetent, and that they manufacture their own news to fit an agenda. And it amazes me that they even still have people watching them, listening to them, and believing the pile of turd that they feed you every single night. People like Nancy Pelosi, who they support, people like President Obama, who's now working behind the scenes, ladies and gentlemen. We can't get rid of him. We can't get rid of Hillary either. Hillary's reading emails about the president and about the vice president. What do you mean she's not in government at all? How does she get that privilege? But we have Barry allowing Valerie Jarrett to borrow his house in D.C. because we know what's coming. There's a soft coup coming, ladies and gentlemen. With the help of the media, the Democrat Party is going to do everything possible to not only disrupt the Donald Trump presidency, but to stop the correction, the fix, the reinstatement of American values back into this country.
We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America.
The hardest thing about all this is I have to sound like I am supporting DT, Donald Trump over there. But I'm really fighting against the mainstream manufactured news. Donald Trump's been there a month. Not only has he not done anything of major importance that I can see, he's written a few executive orders that really have not a whole lot of teeth to it. And he's said a few things and he's had some rallies. Yet you would think from everybody who's losing their mind on the left, they don't have a grip of reality. But they think he's done all this sort of thing, and that's because the mainstream manufactured news has got everybody so wound up tight, especially on the left, that they're going to cause some serious actions, some serious things happening because the irresponsible mainstream manufactured news is one of the biggest enemies of this country. They don't like the American way of life as we know it or as we knew it. And they were complacent in the transformation of America during the Obama administration. He told us he was going to transform America from what it was. Well, there were a lot of us that didn't like the transformation, Mr. Former President. And we would like some correction to that. And I'm sorry you don't like it, or your followers don't like it, and all your corrupt buddies in the government. I'm sorry you guys don't like that. But you went too far, and the American people said, that's it, no further. We need to go back. And although Donald Trump wasn't the perfect candidate, he was a vessel for the American people to fix what the left and the New World Order had messed up. And a lot of people are having a problem with that. And I say tough cookies. Go get yourself some mental help. Go see a psychiatrist because you're not sane. You're crazy. Donald Trump hasn't been in office long enough to do anything of importance. And as we can see, the Republican Party, when it comes to the nitty-gritty, is no different than the Democrats. And they're still going to have the Obamacare because we can't get rid of it. They're scared to get rid of it because they might lose a few votes from people who don't really care about them anyways. Why do these people pander to people? You people on the right-wing side of the aisle, why do you try to pander to people? You follow the ways of the Democrat Party, you're going to end up like the Democrat Party. Anyways, folks, one more segment heading your way right after this.
Don't touch that dial. The John LeBang Show will be right back.
You can bet on it, man.
Powerful, epic music by Toothbox Row. Life-changing lyrics come in every style, empowering humanity to finally unlock the chains of bondage. Experience the edgy side of positive music and rock your world today. From Primal to Divine, available now at sassyalternativemusic.com.
And I'd like to welcome our new sponsor, Pane in the Glass, commercial and residential window cleaning. For a beautiful, sparkling shine that's crystal clear, call Pane in the Glass Window Cleaning. You can find them on Facebook at Pane in the Glass.
If you want to contact the John LeBang Show, feel free to send an email to jlebang@live.com. And if you're on Twitter, look him up at John LeBang. And don't forget to go to his Facebook page at The John LeBang Show. Banger. Now here's John.
Well, the trending topic on Facebook and across the interweb is the latest accusation by President Donald Trump. This one revolves around the Obama administration wiretapping Trump Towers prior to the election, moving up to the election, and possibly after it, for all we know. And although he has not offered enough evidence to support this yet, as he has just put out a few tweets over the midnight hours there and the early morning hours, would it actually surprise you that the Obama administration would wiretap the Trump Towers prior to the election? I'm not saying it happened. We need more evidence on this, but it wouldn't surprise me in the least. For the most part, the Obama administration was very pro wiretapping, very pro invading your privacy. Remember, it was under the Obama administration that the NSA expanded their reach and started collecting all the information on all people, not only abroad, but right here in the United States. So technically, without the warrant or the wiretapping warrant that Mark Levin had brought up on his show, we were already being surveilled or wiretapped. Maybe not directly, but they were listening to all our conversations, every one of our texts, everything through Facebook. You couldn't get away from the government checking in on what you were saying and doing. In case you had these key words that triggered off some red flag. So technically, it's not a surprise that the Trump Towers would be subject to those kind of procedures as well as the rest of us. Although Donald Trump is suggesting that it is deeper than that. And of course, the news media is saying, what's the evidence? What's the evidence? What's the evidence? I'm looking into the evidence myself. The alternative media and the right-wing media is already defending Trump, saying, this is, whatever. It's the normal split in the political spectrum there. I'm still waiting to see some evidence either way. But it wouldn't surprise me to find out that B.O., the Pink Panther, would actually wiretap somebody. I want to see the actual warrant. Apparently, Mark Levin was speaking about the relevant warrant or something of that nature. I haven't been able to listen to that broadcast to give you a first-hand account. This is all breaking, and I'm not a big listener of Mark Levin. Maybe in the summer, because he's played later here where I'm from. So maybe in the summer, if I'm working on my garden late in the evening or working out in the garage or something, I would turn on the radio and there would be Mark, and I would listen to him for a short period of time while I was doing whatever. It wasn't really listening, but I like having noise going on while I'm doing things outside. And so I'm not a big listener of him, but I've got to do some more checking into this, what Mark Levin was referencing, and now Donald Trump is tweeting out to the world that the Obama administration is wiretapping them. He just found out about it. There were like 3 or 4, maybe 5 tweets. Donald Trump likes those tweets. It's his way of connecting to the people, I think. If I was his advisors, I'd probably tell him to slow down on the tweets a little bit. As a president, you need to not jump the gun. And even though you have feelings and you know something is true, there's a way to present it to the people so they can digest it better. Right now, there's half of the country that dislikes Donald Trump, thinking it's a big, just another thing Trump is saying. And then you got the people who support Trump, and they're all backing him without having any real evidence to support it. So it's just a big political game going on. And if I was advising Donald Trump, I would suggest to him to slow down on the tweets, maybe to quit the tweeting altogether, at least while he's president. But I don't think he's going to do that. I think we're going to see more and more and more. And this is my belief now. I think he's using the Twitters as his way of putting out his side of the story to end run the mainstream media, who doesn't seem to want to say anything on his behalf or anything positive about him. In fact, as we spoke earlier, the mainstream media has all of a sudden grew some ads down there and are now actually acting like reporters. And even though a lot of the news that is coming out is very manufactured, a lot of it may not be 100% false, but it's sure twisted around to make Donald Trump and his administration look bad. The guy's been in a month. And they can find all sorts of things wrong with Donald Trump. President Obama, 8 years there, couldn't find a darn thing wrong with him. He was like God to them. Perfect. The perfect president. But everything Donald Trump does is scrutinized with a microscope. It's broken down into the DNA. And if one of his guys did something that one of your guys did, it doesn't matter that one of your guys did it, because it's Trump guys who did it, and we're going to focus on Trump's guys being whatever. Now it's all about Russia again. But what will it be after the Russia thing passes? What are we going to talk about next with Donald Trump? I thought they would have ran out of the Russian message, a month ago. But they're continuing on this Russian message. That's how flimsy the that's how flimsy the whole house of cards over there is. They're grasping at straws. I've done my own research into the Russian thing. I can't find anything that says anything about Russians hacking our elections. They may have hacked the DNC. That's their fault. Maybe. But WikiLeaks says it wasn't the Russians who gave them the information. And we're seeing now that there's leaks coming out of the government. It's that easy to leak. And that's why we're hearing these things about Donald Trump so quickly. He better batten down the hatches real quick. If it were me, all the Obama appointees, anybody left over from the Obama administration, out of there. Just gone. Clean house. You want to reduce the federal workforce? That's a quick way to do it.
John, it's time.
Well, come on in, Shady. I've been waiting for you.
No, you've been ranting.
Yeah, that too.
Are you ever going to get back to the funny stuff? I'm getting tired of you always talking about politics.
Dude, it's not my fault, Shady. I have to talk about what's relevant.
I know, but it's getting a little ridiculous. Anyone who believes anything Nancy Pelosi says isn't drinking from a full beer.
Are you ready for your introduction?
Damn right. The real question is, are you ready?
For what?
For me to slap you upside your head for talking too much. Now get on with the introduction.
This hour's Cool or Uncool is
Donald Trump tweeting all the time.
Now you can call into the show or you can email us at jlebang@live.com. Our first call comes from the future. James, what say you?
This is Captain James Picard of the Starship Space Quest. Do you copy?
We hear you loud and clear.
Is this guy some kind of space cadet or something?
There's a matter of great importance we must discuss.
What are you talking about, sir?
Get to the point, Jim. Your world is about to be...
Hello? Looks like we got cut off.
Well, that guy sounded crazy anyways.
So do you think that was a cool or uncool?
How about crazy?
Our next call comes from Washington, D.C. Donald, what say you?
So the Mexican government is not happy with me, to put it mildly.
Thanks for your call.
Great. Look who's next. The nuttiest of all butters.
Well, that's not nice, Shady.
Who says I have to be nice?
Well, I do. We're trying to grow the audience, remember?
Listen, nowhere in my contract does it say I have to be nice. And if it doesn't say it in there, I'm not doing it.
Well, the next time your contract comes up, it's going to be in there.
Well, you better be offering a lot more than bean burritos and beer in the next contract if you want me to be nice. Now, will you get to the nut job so we can move on?
AJ in Austin, Texas. You're next.
Submit to tyranny and your dreams will be fulfilled.
Thanks for your call.
See, I told you.
Up next, we have Nancy from San Francisco.
Do you know who the poorest people in America are? Infants and children.
Thanks for your call.
I guess they are poor since they're too young to have jobs.
That's a good point, Shady. What's the score?
What are you talking about, John?
Well, the score of cool or uncool.
So far, no one has said cool or uncool. So why should I be keeping score?
Up next, we go to Chicago. Peppa, cool or uncool?
I think it's uncool.
Okay, thanks for your call.
One for the uncools. The uncools have it. I'm leaving now. Bye.
And that's it, ladies and gentlemen, for the first 60 minutes of this week's John LeBang Show.
It's hydroponic radio for your brain.
Don't forget to go to my website. That's www.jlebang.com. Thank you to all my affiliate stations and to you, the listener. And until the vibrations of my vocal cords reach your ears again, for some of you, that's in the next hour. This is John LeBang signing off from the Banger Studios.
1. We have liftoff. Tune in again next week. Same time, same space, same station.
Here you go, ladies. Your dinner is served.
What is it this time?
Well, it's a tuna fish on rye.
I don't like tuna. I'd rather have the sausage.
Could I get some tartar sauce?
Oh, you always want extra sauce. But don't you have anything different besides tuna? I don't like tuna.
Listen, you get what you get, and that's all you get. You don't like it? Tough.
Oh, I can get it whenever I want.
Here's a lollipop for both of you, too.
Oh, I love lollipops.
For you all-day suckers.
Oh, you think you're funny, don't you?
Could I please have some tartar sauce?
I want sausage.
Both of you can just shut up.